The New Year's Day Junkanoo parade took over Bay Street this morning, and we've got the highlights. Chamber of Commerce CEO Edison Sumner says major stakeholders are not ready for NHI implementation. More and more employers are unfairly treating their employees, according to the labor director. Plus, one union leader questions whether work permits are affecting the nation's unemployment rate. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. Happy New Year's Day. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Joining us, another successful Junkanoo parade for the history books, as both the A and B category groups pulled out all the stops for a New Year's showdown on Bay Street. Our Kyle Joaquin was on Bay Street for all the drum beating and cowbell shaking. Here's his report.
First out the gate was the Shell Saxon Superstars. Taking Junkanooers into a mystical world of magic, the Saxons brought the sorcery and illusions that go along with magic.
Now, as you can hear just behind me, as the music of the One Family Warriors got even closer, the crowd got even more excited. The group went all the way down to Jamaica to bring a Bob Marley experience.
Playing some of the reggae icons' hits like Feel Alright and Be Loved, One Family brought the mellow tunes of Bob Marley to Bay Street in a rush that got the crowd rocking. Group leader Darren Turnquist said the group showed up and showed out.
I think the crowd says it all. One love. Let's get together and feel all right. We brought it to Bay Street. Nothing, no stone unturned. One love. Bob Marley, sharing our culture with the region, bringing Jamaica to the world. We brought Japan to the world. We showed up, we showed out, and we showed up. Warriors for life.
And the performance One Family put on left their fans sure of a New Year's Day victory.
We got this, we got this. We got this morning.
But the performance by the Saxons also left their fans expecting a win as well.
Awesome performance this morning. I don't see nothing else on the parade this morning that can touch the Saxons. The Saxons all the way.
I have to go with the Saxons. No, I saw them. They were incredible.
What did you like about the Saxons?
I really like the Harry Potter float. And I really like the wizards with the magical glitter.
Now, if you were to look all around me, you would see the crowd is on their feet, all in anticipation of returning New Year's Day champs, the Valley Boys.
And the Valley Boys didn't disappoint with their theme, Fly High as Birds.
But the B category this year was just as competitive as the A category. Reigning champs colors got some stiff competition from Junkanoo newcomers, the Genesis Warhawks.
And it was that stellar performance by the Warhawks with their theme, Awesome Wonders of God, that gave returning B-League champs Colors a run for their money. Colors took spectators on a vacation to the Bahamas and brought the Haitian musicians Wendy Lewis, Tyson Knight, and Funky D along for the ride. In all, the 2016 New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade could be considered a success. The wait times in between groups was practically non-existent, and attendees just seemed to have had themselves a good time. Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Police were out in full force during the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade. Assistant Commissioner of Police Leon Bethel said every officer was either present at the parade or on duty throughout the city, quite a few of them heavily armed. He said the event went by without incident, but there were still a few people who police had to arrest.
Well, we have had a steady pace with the parade. There have been no incidents reported. All the Bahamians you see have been behaving themselves. We had some youngsters who went through the crowd and tried to just stampede the crowd, and we put that away quick. All hands on deck from the police force, various teams of senior officers moving about. So anyone who attempted to do anything, they dealt with it in a quick time. So no one have been given any chance to cause any disruption to this parade.
Children under the age of 18 were unable to make it past the numerous security checkpoints. Police also did random name checks of young men they deemed to be suspicious.
This is well attended, well policed, good security by your Royal Bahamas Police Force. Nothing will happen while we're out here.
Well, it's now January 1st, and registration for national health insurance is set to begin in a matter of days on January 18th. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions surrounding the scheme, according to CEO of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employers Confederation, Edison Sumner. He told NB12 major stakeholders like the insurance sector and private physicians are simply not ready.
While the government is pushing for a January 18th launch, at least with the registration part of it, our position has been that there still remains unanswered questions. There still remains issues that have not been adequately addressed and or resolved. And what we said was that, and this is like driving a car, right? You can release the clutch on this, but keep your foot on the brakes. Because while you release the clutch, you can cause this machine to start to move forward, but keep your foot on the brakes so you can temper how fast you move and at what stage you need to stop, review, and reassess how you want to get this done.
Sumner said as he understands it, when registration begins for NHI, Bahamians will be asked to list their healthcare provider. But as far as he knows, no physicians have signed on for the scheme.
When you register for NHI, or Universal Health Coverage, a part of the registration process is that you're supposed to begin identifying who your physician is going to be for your medical home. As I understand it, and up to this day, and again, we can be corrected if the information is not current, but this is what I believe is the case, and that is that we don't have any physicians yet who've actually signed on to NHI.
Sumner added, insurance companies are still very much at odds with NHI implementation, and employers who may be required to assist with registration or any future collection of fees to pay for NHI have not yet been given any clear instruction as to how that will happen. Sumner said private sector stakeholders, including physicians and insurance officials, had their own meeting on NHI last month, and they all left that meeting with the feeling that no one is ready.
We had a meeting, a symposium of sorts with all of the private sector stakeholders for NHI, which included the Chamber, the Bahamas Insurance Association, the Bahamas Insurance Brokers Association, the medical profession and allied services, etc., pharmaceutical industry. And the one thing that I believe all of us walked away from that meeting understanding was that none of us were ready for NHI, for the implementation of it at least, for January.
Sumner said as it stands now, there remains a lot of questions, and they plan on forwarding their concerns to government. He added perhaps the Prime Minister himself ought to call a meeting with stakeholders in a bid to give further clarity as to what needs to happen and what's going to happen.
The horse hasn't left the gate yet. It is still our view that perhaps there should be a meeting, not only with the NHI lead team now, but perhaps the Prime Minister himself, because he has taken carriage of this. The Prime Minister himself ought to call a meeting with all the private sector stakeholders and let him outlay to us in very clear terms how he expects this to roll out and what he expects the outcomes to be beginning January 18th of 2016.
According to Labor Director Robert FARQUHARSON, there seems to be more and more employers treating their employees unfairly. He told NB12 this week that the Department of Labor in 2015 found itself dealing with complaints from many employees of businesses no one would expect concerning poor treatment and compensation. In particular, he said they've noticed many companies are refusing to comply with the rise in minimum wage that occurred this past August.
We have a team of inspectors who are on the ground, who are actively pursuing these companies, and we will prosecute those companies to the full extent of the law.
In addition to that, FARQUHARSON said there are still a lot of companies refusing to pay national insurance for their employees.
We work hand in hand with the inspector unit at the National Insurance Board. Whenever we identify these companies, we immediately contact the National Insurance Board and have those inspectors go to those companies and ensure that they comply with the law. These are statutory benefits that every worker in this country is entitled to.
According to the Labor Director, his department is cracking down on security companies. He said they've noticed some of those types of companies have been treating their employees unfairly, particularly when it comes to paying them.
The Department of Labor has undertaken an exercise to ensure that those men and women who work in the security services industry in the Bahamas are treated fairly and in accordance with the law. Too many companies who operate security service intentionally violate the law by refusing to pay employees overtime, by refusing to pay employees their statutory benefits, and by just treating them poorly.
When we come back, TUC President Obi Ferguson questions if there's a connection between high unemployment and work permits. Stay